going on, guys? I'm your host, Cameron Johnson, joined by
Gabe C.
and
Andy B.
And on this episode of Hub City Gameday, we're going to be going over Southern Miss's close call with Arkansas State, Southern Miss's emerging playoff chances, and as for the national segment, we're going to discuss big SEC matchups, one of which including football royalty. And just to finish it off, some high-stakes Group of 5 football. All this and more on Hub City Gameday. Welcome back to Hub City Gameday, everybody. Last week, Southern Miss traveled to take on Arkansas State, whose record didn't actually reflect the talent they played with last Saturday, keeping the Golden Eagles on their toes. First, I'm going to go to you, Gabe. What are your takeaways from that game?
Well, obviously, as you know, we are first in college football in turnover margin, plus 16. But we did not capitalize off those turnovers. Every time we got a pick or a fumble, it seemed like 3 plays later, we're putting the ball back. Now, on offense, I'm not to say offense was stalling out because it was still 528 yards. And, you know, that's halfway to 1,000. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
One thing on defense, we struggle a little bit with dynamic quarterbacks not tackling them well. Jalen Rayner was out the pocket. I mean, we did force him to throw those interceptions, but sometimes you got to get them behind the line of scrimmage.
Right.
But, like, other than that, you know, plus in turnovers, special teams look great, no errors there. And it was just overall, it was just too close. I think what it was Arkansas State. They came in hungry. This is their Super Bowl. These guys are on the top of the conference. We beat them. It's kind of a morale booster, to say.
Right. Well, I mean, as far as today's matchup, we're gonna go ahead and put last week in the past. Last week was last week. What are you doing looking forward to this matchup?
The same thing, obviously. Turnovers, again, plus 16, as I mentioned, but Texas State is 122nd in the whole entire FBS with a -8. So they're gonna give us the pill a little bit.
Yeah.
But just like the LA Tech game, from that day on, we have to win dominantly because there is a chance we could still make the playoffs.
Right. And as far as the playoffs go, Andy, longtime Southern Miss fan, the college football playoff seems more and more real week by week. Go ahead and take me through that, man.
Well, man, you know, this is something Southern Miss has never seen. Since the creation of the playoff, Southern Miss has not been relevant. I'm just going to put it like it is. We haven't seen a team that could make the playoff in about 13, 14 years. So I'm just going to run over these couple of things with you, man. We got a very small chance to make the playoff for the Group of 5 spot.
Right.
There's a bunch of teams that sit over us like Memphis and South Florida, San Diego State, but it's becoming more and more real with every win. If we can get through these last 3 games, we can get through today's game, the South Alabama game looking good, and the Troy game looking really good.
Right.
We get to the conference championship. We beat a really good James Madison team, and we're looking good. We're sitting at, I believe it would be 11-2 at that point.
I believe so, yeah.
If we win the conference championship, we'll be sitting at 11-2, looking at either a really good bowl game or, depending on what a lot of other teams do, you know, you got to see Memphis drop a couple more games. Navy's got to drop the rest of their games. Right. South Florida's got to drop another game or lose the American. Tulane's got to drop some. San Diego State's got to drop some or lose a conference. It's a lot of ifs to this situation. If Memphis loses and UAB wins something, we could do it. It's a whole lot of back and forth there. But that little, I would say maybe a 5% chance of it happening is starting to look better every minute.
Yeah, right. Just like Andy said, it's starting to look more and more real. Lots of ifs, ands, and whatevers. But coming up after this break, we're going to be heading into the national segment featuring Gavin Blackshear going over our top matchups.
To make sure our futures took off, we joined the Mississippi Army National Guard. With part-time service, we were able to get paid training in the aviation field. We learned skills that helped us get started down the path to a great civilian career. And this is just one out of the hundreds of jobs the Mississippi Army National Guard can train you for. You can learn a trade and earn money for school, all while serving close to home and being there for your community. See what your future could look like by going to nationalguard.com/MS.
Shop at Furniture Direct offers the largest selection of Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, and Stearns & Foster, which means you can buy it today and sleep on it tonight. Come experience the cooling comfort of Tempur-Pedic, the ultimate support of Stearns & Foster, and of course, the most trusted name in sleep, Sealy Posturepedic. Why settle for less when you can sleep on a Sealy for $4.99, plus get the sheets and pillows for free? The Sleep Shop at Furniture Direct in Hattiesburg, Columbia, and Laurel.
What's going on, guys? We're back from break, as you can see. And first up, we've got the first national matchup, Alabama versus Oklahoma. Andy, I'm going to go to you first. What do you think about this game?
You know, this is one of the games I was excited to see whenever Oklahoma joined the SEC. This is a classic blue blood matchup, Alabama versus Oklahoma. I really liked Alabama in this game. I don't really know about Oklahoma. Alabama's just got to keep it together, can't let up, because this is a game with a bunch of implications behind it. Right. You know, if Alabama drops this game, they might drop it to Auburn. You know, if Oklahoma wins this game, that gives them a better shot to the playoffs. Right. So I'm excited for this game. I'm anxious to see how John Mateer performs in this game. I'm eager to see if Ty Simpson can keep any Heisman hopes together. I didn't like him before the season for the Heisman, but he's earned a little bit more favor from me now. So.
Oh, yeah, I think not John Mateer, excuse me. I think Ty Simpson's earned a little bit of everyone's respect with how Alabama's been playing. They're hot right now, and I think they probably just keep this going against Oklahoma. Gabe?
The biggest thing coming into this game is you have two sides of a coin. You have one side, we're trying to fight to stay alive in Oklahoma, and you have a side, this is a revenge game for us. Y'all took our lunch money last year. We're trying to get this back. Right. Now, the big thing is, can Alabama's O-line hold up against that dominant defensive front of Oklahoma? Right. We've seen them with 12 sacks in a game, 9 sacks. So it's going to be a lot on the two tackles and maybe even the running back. And if you have to put the tight end there, even though Alabama runs a lot of their tight end running out to catch passes to protect Ty. Because Ty under pressure isn't a bad quarterback, but you have seen him in games like South Carolina. He struggled a little bit to get Tennessee towards the end, but that game was already far out of reach. And then for Oklahoma, it's the same thing on their offense. Bama's pass rush is finally getting to their normal, I guess you could call it the Bama standard, if you will. So John Mateer is going to have to do a lot of scrambling, a lot of improvising. He can't just sit back in the pocket and just throw the ball like he's been doing. So it really just, like I said, it really just depends on the trenches for both teams.
I think people are really coming into this game doubting Oklahoma. Like the past couple weeks, Oklahoma's looked a little bit shaky. John Mateer was dealing with his hand surgery, his issues with his hand, his throwing hand, by the way, had surgery on his throwing hand. And I think that led to like a small slip in performance. But overall, this is still a 7-2 team. This is still a team that Alabama could probably have a little bit of, get a little resistance from. So I think we should stop overlooking
that
Oklahoma.
thing too. A lot of teams have been like, after Alabama lost to FSU, it's like we're in panic mode. We cannot lose. So what I have seen from them, and I've seen from a couple other teams, not gonna say just them, they're rallying in the third and fourth quarter like, hey, we could lose this game. It's kind of like a pickup. It's a whole different team. But against a team like Oklahoma, you don't want to be in the situation, hey, we're down 14 with 10 minutes left in the fourth. Right. Because they're just going to hold the ball like they did against Tennessee, and you're not going to get the ball back and this game over.
Well said, Gabe.
And you're looking at this game, it's also like a quarterback battle almost, but you're looking at it from the viewpoint of Oklahoma as a quarterback who doesn't have the stats of a team that's 7-2. John Mateer has 8 touchdowns and 7 interceptions to back that up. You look over at Ty Simpson, 21 touchdowns, 1 interception. So you got one guy who's looking a whole lot better and a whole lot faster, and a guy who's been hurt, not playing as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they match up.
That's all from us right here at this desk. We're going to go ahead and kick it over to our man Gavin with the analysis.
Thanks, Cam. The matchup between Alabama and Oklahoma is all about momentum and playoff positioning. Alabama, they're now coming back and recapturing their physical identity. Last year, Alabama didn't really show that, only due to coaching changes. But now the coaches are figuring it out. The players are buying into what the coaches are offering to sell. And now I feel like Alabama is now recapturing that Alabama spirit. Oklahoma on the other side of the ball, Oklahoma is all about that up-tempo offense. They bring a nastiness to them when it comes to spreading the ball out and getting it to different people and giving it to their weapons to go down the field and make plays. This game is going to come down to the trenches. It's going to be Alabama's defensive line for Oklahoma's offensive line. This game is going to be full of surprises, but we have to understand that Alabama, they are back. That first game of the season doesn't dictate how the rest of their season will go. Oklahoma, they lost a couple of games. They're 7-2. John Mateer, he's showing the whole entire world that he can ball. He's not just your regular old average quarterback. This game is going to come down to who can make the right reads, who can force the most mistakes and keep each side of the ball off balance. Alabama has to keep the pace. Oklahoma has to keep their pace. It's all about who's going to win the turnover battle. Let's throw it back to you, Cam.
Thanks, Gavin. Now we're going to go ahead and get into the second game, Texas versus UGA. Andy, what are we thinking first for Texas and UGA?
Man, this is another one I'm excited for to see. You could say it's kind of a blue blood matchup, a new blood and an old blood matchup. Let's put it that way. Texas has been at a great level for a long time. They kind of dropped off for a couple of years. Georgia was great at one time. They dropped off for about 40 years and got really good again. I'm excited to see how this is because this is also a playoff implication game.
Right.
Losing this could possibly lead to Georgia getting knocked out of the playoffs because if they lose, it's another one of those games where it's like the Alabama-Oklahoma game. If Alabama drops that game, they might drop it to Auburn. If Georgia drops this, they might drop it to Georgia Tech.
Right.
And even if they win, they still might drop it. You never know.
Right.
Texas could win this and go all out and finish 10-2 and squeeze their way into the playoffs. You never know. It's also another battle of the quarterbacks, like I said, with Alabama and Georgia. You got one guy, 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and Arch Manning, who hasn't played that well. Other guy, Gunnar Stockton, 15 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. So I'll be interested to see how they match up against each other too.
Right. Thank you, Andy. Gabe, what are we thinking?
This is a must-win for Texas. They lose this game, it's over with. But in Steve Sarkisian's past, it's always been we drop some early. We still make the playoffs. We seen them go the year they lost to Washington, and the year that they barely made it against Ohio State where that imploded. But Texas, they do this thing. I don't know if it's the Longhorn or Texas or the oil money, whatever it is. They do this thing where they just find it at the end of the year. Listen, their quarterback, Mr. Football Royalty, as we said earlier, Arch Manning, consecutive 300-yard passing games. He's finally stepping to that Manning presence. Now, one thing that is going to help him is UGA is without Jordan Hall, their top defensive tackle, as he got hurt in that, I guess you could say, scary game against Florida. Mm-hmm. So their defense is taking a step back. But at the end of the day, it's a Kirby Smart defense. You have to respect them. In Texas, they're going to have to hold up because I seen something against Vanderbilt that I was like, this is not the Texas O-line we've seen in a while. Now, they've been having problems all year. I haven't really watched Texas like that, but watching that game was like, oh, they're going to be ready for Georgia. And then on Texas' defensive side, they have a problem struggling against dynamic quarterbacks. Pavia ran all over them with the option, and Arch is up there in terms of speed. I'm not going to say he's a true Manning with speed, but yeah. So with all that being said, Texas, you got to put your big boy pants on. This is in Athens. They're gonna have a bunch of drunk fans barking at you. The red light's gonna be there. It's gonna be a whole spectacle. What are you guys gonna do to rise to the challenge?
Thanks, Gabe. Now, as for me, my biggest thing is young Arch ready? Going to Athens? Like, he's played against some other SEC teams. Georgia's a little different to me, I feel like. Going into their house, is young Arch ready?
I mean, he didn't have the best game in the Red River rivalry, and I think that stadium might be bigger than Sanford Stadium.
Andy?
I don't know if he's really ready for it, but we'll see. He's been ready for some other games.
That's why I said put your big boy pants on this time.
Yeah, well, that's it from us here at the desk. We're going to go ahead and transition back to Gavin for some more analysis on this big SEC matchup. Gavin, what you got?
Thanks, Cam. This game is going to be a little bit different. You got Texas versus Georgia. This game is going to be played in Sanford Stadium. This is a very, very hostile environment, with Texas just averaging well over 435 yards a game. You also have to remember Georgia's defense. They're not there what they used to be. Georgia can come out of nowhere and they can still shock the world at 8-1, ranked number 5 in the country. They're already making a name for themselves to the committee and saying that we still belong in the playoff. We may not be what we used to be, but we still Georgia. You can't get that mistake and twisted. Now you have to understand that Arch Manning is starting to come alive a little bit more now. At the beginning of the season, I wasn't high on him. But now Arch Manning, I feel like he's starting to come around a little bit more. He's starting to show his true colors. With him having over 18 passing touchdowns, I feel like he's starting to make his own. So I feel that Texas, the key for Texas this game is they're going to have to come out the gate swinging. They got to get Ryan Wingo going. Get the ball into your playmakers' hands. Georgia, Gunnar Stockton is going to have to protect the football. Continue what he's been doing all season long. Spread the ball out, get it to the running back. Nate Frazier is going to be the key guy for this game. If you get the run game going and you dominate Texas on the ground, Georgia has a real chance of winning this game. But Texas also has to get their pass game going. If they don't get the pass game going, it's going to be a long night for the Longhorns in Georgia. Now let's jump back over to you, Cam.
All right, guys, welcome back to Predictions. I'm here with the guys. We're going to go ahead and get right into the first game, USF versus Navy. Andy, kick me off.
You know, this is a group of 5 game, got a lot of playoff implications behind it, looking at a really good USF team, an all right Navy team. You know, off camera I've talked to y'all, I don't like Navy at all. I don't think they're that good. They just got lucky. Well, we look at it against the Notre Dame game, man.
Okay.
They completely dropped that game as everybody expected. Okay. They're going into the rough patch of their schedule now. They got Notre Dame. They got USF. It's just not an easy part of the schedule.
Right.
They started out, I think, 8-0 on this schedule. They're going to finish 8-4.
Wow.
Give me the Bulls.
Okay. Gavin?
For me, I feel like this game can go either way. You know, USF, they haven't really been consistent these last 3 weeks. Navy, you know, is a hard-nosed, ground and pound football team. They love to run the ball. They love to make you believe like, hey, we can pass it, but really we're going to play smash mouth football and run the ball down your throat. Considering the fact that USF has been, like I said, inconsistent in the last 3 weeks, I do feel like they can make a bounce back on this week against Navy because this game is at Navy. So give me USF for the win.
All right. And for me, just like Gavin said, both teams have been, well, not both teams. Navy's been inconsistent.
Yeah.
But I do like Byron Brown. I do like USF. And I would be definitely surprised if they lose, but I don't think I would be as surprised as a lot of other people probably would be. So go ahead and give me USF. But if it's a close game, would not be surprised.
Close now.
What's going to come down to USF's defense. Navy's going to run the ball down your throat, as Gavin mentioned. They're going to hold the ball. Average time possession at one point this season was 20 minutes, like for a half. And, you know, you only get 30 minutes in that half. You know, they're gonna hold the ball. You know, you might get 6 or 7 drives out of them. But can USF's defense stand up? The answer, I believe, is yes. They have the corners to do it, very physical DBs that can tackle. You don't find that in college football today.
Right.
And the quarterback, my preseason Heisman favorite, I'm kind of regretting that because they're scheduled. But Byron Brown, man, he's going to have to take over the game. If they get behind, he has the keys to lead them back as he's done during the season. Give me the Bulls, man.
All right, there you have it for the first game. Next game, Notre Dame versus Pitt. Andy.
You know, I could say that this was going to be an upset for Notre Dame, but just like Navy, I don't think Notre Dame's that good. Notre Dame could be a whole lot better. They could have beat Miami. They could have beat Texas A&M. Both very close games that were very winnable. They're 7-2. They're a top 10 college football poll team. I don't know how. I guess it's just the legacy. But I'm done pretending. Give me the Panthers in this game.
Hey, that's a real good. That's a real good pick. That's a real good pick. I was thinking about that, but you got to think about it. Notre Dame has shown lights this season. Considering the strength of their schedule for this year, it's not really, you know, a top strength schedule. You know, they haven't played really big teams, but A&M and, you know, and Navy, but they dog walk Navy. You know, and throughout the course of history, Pitt has been known for, excuse my language, I'm not gonna say it, but Pitt has been known to pull games out there. You know, like for some reason they always end up on the spectrum where they cause upsets. So I just feel like with the consistency that Notre Dame has been playing, with them averaging over 27 points a game this season, and with them showing that their defense is kind of figuring out where they're supposed to be before the playoff time, I think Notre Dame is going to get this win.
Just to go ahead and add on to what Gavin said, Pitt does do that. I don't know if you guys remember.
All the time.
They pull games out they bro.
Bro, their bowl game from last year versus Toledo with all those overtimes, they're capable. They can do it. Give me the Panthers, man. Gabe.
What it's going to come down to for me, Notre Dame, give Ford the ball and get the hell out of the way. That's been their mantra. That should be always their mantra. Now, C.J. Carr isn't a bad guy, but you got to give it to him. And against this Pitt defense who, as it's come to be affected, they're honoring the best defensive player probably in NFL history in Aaron Donald. So, you know, D-line, they're gonna feel a little something, a little boy syndrome. So they're going to probably step up. But I got to roll with Notre Dame, man. Like I said, give the ball to Ford and get out the way.
See, you got to think about it. Now this is not discrediting Pitt, but Pitt is an amazing football team. This year they have improved constantly over the years and years, but it's just from recent history, they just pulling games out they behind.
This is not the time for it, man.
They find a way. I don't know how, but they just find a way.
It's the Pitt way. Next game, guys, UAB versus North Texas. This is a big one. This is probably the biggest Group of 5 game right now in this current week. Andy, get me going.
The biggest one, huh? Like we didn't just say USF and Navy. But look, I'm just gonna be honest, man. You know, I know I get it. UAB beat Memphis in the at home and everything. I'm not gonna sit here and act like Birmingham is a competitive atmosphere though, because when you look at this, listen, when you look at this season, it's almost a 50,000 seat stadium, and they managed to put between 15 to 20,000 in it every week. That's not competitive, especially in that big stadium. UAB's not good. I can prove it because they fired their coach. They got lucky to beat Memphis. They're not going to get lucky this weekend. The only reason they got lucky to beat Memphis is because it is such a big rivalry game. The Battle of the Barbecue Rib or something like that.
I was about to say Battle of Slab of Ribs.
Yeah, the Battle of Slab of Ribs.
I was hungry watching the game.
This is not a big rivalry game. This is just another American Conference game between a good American team and a bad American team.
Wow.
Give me the Mean Greens, or the Mean Green.
Follow that one up.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and just dog walk UAB like that. We're not gonna sit here and act like UAB. Y'all have to understand, UAB's defense has caused a turnover in 8 of their consecutive games. They have caused a turnover. Those turnovers are key turnovers for the game. North Texas, they've been playing clean all year.
Right.
But I feel UAB can disrupt them and cause a turnover. Now, that's not the discredit. I'm not discrediting anything they're doing. I'm not going to say they're a bad team, but they can definitely give North Texas a run for their money. UAB is 3-1 at home this season. They've upset in Memphis. It was 31-24. They show you they can make plays on offense and on defense. Now, who do I think is going to win? I think North Texas is going to win just because of their quarterback play and how clean they have been playing.
Right.
But can UAB keep this a close game in Birmingham? Yes, they can.
All right. Well, as for me, Trent Dilfer effect is real.
All right.
That's how I'm going to agree with Gavin. I agree with Gavin. North Texas is going to win.
Yes.
But UAB is definitely going to give them a run for their money. They're coming off an upset versus Memphis. They're probably hot right now. Could you imagine that locker room right now in practice this week?
They're not hot, but because they just lost to Rice, and it was at Rice. But, considering the momentum.
That's a big win to have momentum with.
Yeah, hey, you're right.
It's a big win. So they're coming off that win, coming off that loss. They're going to try to get it back at home. Give me North Texas with UAB keeping it close.
Yeah.
See, North Texas is the true definition of an air raid offense. Why is your quarterback having 600 passing yards a game? Now, Drew Messmaker is what we like to consider here our white boy Ricky of the week. He's done it several times. But against that UAB defense, if UAB just comes out there on a nickel, then you're going to have to run the ball. I haven't seen their run game be as proven. But, hey, if Drew Messmaker's throwing for 600 yards a game, why not do it again? What's one more time for the guys? Give me the Mean Green.
I mean, yeah. Like, why run the ball when you have Drew Messmaker?
They do have, North Texas does have a top 25 offense in the country as they average over 400 yards passing a game. And to be honest, guys, if that's not top 10, I don't know what is. But that is.
This week, though, you're going to have to run the ball because, obviously, if I'm UAB's defense coordinator, we're running a nickel. We're running a 3-2-6.
Yes.
You're going to have to show us you're going to throw the ball this week. So the run game has to get going, and I feel like they can get it done. So give me the Mean Green, as I said.
All right, guys, next game, Alabama versus Oklahoma. Andy, let's keep it going.
Like I said earlier, playoff implications for both teams behind this game. Alabama doesn't necessarily lose them if they lose this game. Oklahoma, if they lose this game, to me, they're out.
Yeah, they're done.
I figured they were out before this, but you know what? I've been watching them a little bit more mostly because of the Auburn game. But this is one of the games, it's not good for whoever loses. And I tell y'all every week, I don't think there's no such thing as a good loss. There's every such thing as a bad loss.
Right.
And if Alabama loses this, they're going to lose a couple more games, and they might be out of the. I could totally see them dropping a game to Auburn at the end of the year. If Oklahoma loses, I see them getting something, Mayo Bowl, Pop-Tart Bowl, something like that. So it's a big game.
Pop-Tart Bowl's
and
fun.
I hate to do it because, they are closer to us.
Right.
A lot more Alabama fans around here. But I'm just going to take the shadow of a doubt and go with Oklahoma for this game.
Oh, my God, this guy.
You got to think about it now. You have to think about this. Where is this game being played, guys?
Where is it
Brian
being
Denny.
played? Is it?
Yes.
It's being played. Okay, it's being played in Alabama. We have to think about this. In big game situations where the score is close, how does Ty Simpson perform in those moments?
Right.
How does he perform in those moments? Because if you look at every other game, if they're winning, but if they had a lead past 7 points, they are 75% chance of they're just going to win that game because they're going to run off with it because their defense is going to make mistakes. John Mateer has not been playing his best clean football all year. He hasn't. So I feel that Alabama is going to take this win, but Alabama is definitely on upset alert.
Oh, yeah.
Because any given team can get beat on any given Saturday. Doesn't matter who you are. So I got to go with the Tide only because of the limited amount of mistakes I feel they're going to have.
Any given Saturday, that's something that we've learned, especially in this new era of college football. Anybody could lose to anybody on any Saturday. With that being said, give me Alabama. I still like Alabama. Alabama's been hot. They almost dropped that game to South Carolina, kind of scared people for a little bit. And I was like, whoa, this is not that same Alabama we've been seeing all year. But, I mean, I feel like they come past this. John Mateer, especially his hand, is under a big magnifying glass.
Yes.
Does he get that cured up? Does he go back to how we know him to play? I bet against Oklahoma in this first week of the season whenever they played against Michigan. I had a lot of confidence in Bryce Underwood. He let me down that week. But I don't like betting against Oklahoma, but I feel like I'll put that aside to bet on Alabama this week. Give me the Tide.
As I've stated in previous episodes, Bama has this mantra, Bama sci-fi fuel. They have broken it down on that all week. This defense has come alive since that Florida State game, that punch in the mouth. They're here now. Shout out to Dr. Chan fixing Mateer's hand, but that's not gonna be enough. He's gonna need the hand of God.
Wow.
And I hate to put God into it, but that Bama defense is alive and well. They know they cannot lose. Ty Simpson hasn't been on the greatest path right now. He's missed a couple throws last week. The South Carolina game was a little shaky till the fourth quarter. So the defense knows they have to stand up. But if Ty Simpson goes out there, he has all the receivers to do it. Even adding more that we don't even mention. What is it? 5 receivers and 2 tight ends that can catch passes. That's all he really needs against this spread out 4-2-5 that Oklahoma likes to run.
That limits the windows. That limits his windows because that's more so a zone defense, and you've seen how Ty Simpson does against zone.
But that is true. That is true. So that's when they involve the run game, hopefully, which hasn't got started. They're still arguing on whether A.K. Deere or whomever is in the running back situation. But for the key for Oklahoma, get to the quarterback as fast as you possibly can. Play the zone, like I mentioned, they're 4-2-5, but they could also go into the 3-2-6, as I talked about with UAB, to cover Alabama's receivers in their quick game. But I still don't think it's going to be enough. Give me the Tide.
Okay. With that being said, let's go ahead and go on to our next game, Texas versus Georgia. Andy, kick us off.
It's another game just like the last one. Playoff implications everywhere. Texas is just like their rival, fighting to stay in. Georgia's just like theirs. They could be good. They could be worse. Georgia could drop this game and go drop the Georgia Tech game. Texas could drop this game and lose to Texas A&M again. And losing this puts them out in my mind completely, and losing to Texas A&M seals the deal even more. This is a game in Athens. However, I'm trying to be a little cautious with buying into Arch Manning.
Right.
Because we've seen how he's done this year. He started out, not too many people believed him through the first couple of games, and he started building himself up. He said, move my hand very slowly. This is what he did. He didn't just shoot up there. He just started coming back a little bit, looking a little good, a little shaky along the way too. So I don't really know how he's going to do. Gunnar Stockton looks pretty good at Georgia.
He is proven too. He's been playing for a little bit.
Georgia scares me a little bit. Texas scares me a little bit. And whoever wants to say it can tell you this guy again. But I'm gonna go with the underdog again. I'm going with the Longhorns.
All right.
That's a real good pick there, Andy. But I have to go. I'm gonna go with Georgia simply for the fact that you got to think about it. This game is played in Sanford. Arch Manning, he's been playing arguably his best ball we've seen all season. He's now starting to come alive. After that Mississippi State game, where they were down 34-14, I feel like now he's starting to make that little rise that you said. See, Georgia has been showing week in, week out that Gunnar Stockton, he can consistently play clean. He's been playing clean. The Mississippi State game, he played clean. Right. Because Mississippi State, when they played Mississippi State, they had the run game and the pass game. They were mixing it up. We could throw it, we could run it. Nate Frazier had over 147 yards that game with over 2 touchdowns. Right. And he only had that on about 12, 13 carries. So do I feel that Texas defensive line can hold them? I feel so, but not for the entirety of the game.
Right.
Georgia is consistently putting in the work between the 110 and 53. They are constantly putting in the work. So I got to go with Georgia.
All right. For me, I'm confused, guys. Arch has been looking good, but he hasn't been tested like I feel like he's about to be tested. Do we think that he's actually been tested for this? Because
Oklahoma was a test for him.
Oklahoma was a test. Big rivalry game, passed
I feel
it.
like Mississippi State was a bit
Mississippi
of a test.
Mississippi State was a test.
It was a
rocking environment.
That was a major test. I feel like he's been tested all year.
That was a big test, but I feel like there's nothing that compares to going to Georgia. I'm not aware of what time it is, but does it matter? 6:45 prime time in Sanford Stadium? I don't know if he's entirely ready for that. But he won't shock me if he is ready and he handles it. I don't think he'll shock me. But with that being said, give me Georgia. I just think that there's less cracks in their empire, just like Gavin said. Gabe?
With Georgia, I don't know what's been going on with them this year. Starting slow, but finishing strong. They started slow against Alabama. That ended in a loss. Started slow against Ole Miss. It was close for comfort. The key is what you say, Gavin. Give Nate Frazier the ball early. Make Texas bite on the run. Make them load the box. Then you hit them deep because we know they have the quarterback to do it. And obviously that defense, you know, they're missing a key starter in the D tackle that I mentioned. But their defense, they have to stay strong, limit stupid penalties such as late hits and pass interferences, which are all on their DBs. You know, why are your DBs really tackling? No, you have one job, cover receiver. You make the tackle if needed. But like I said, if Georgia can get out early and not fall behind to that Texas offense that is very high-powered, man, I think it's going to be a good game. But with that being said, give me the horns. I'm just playing. Go Dogs, baby.
For our next game, we're going to go ahead and get into some more Golden Eagle talk. USM versus Texas State. Andy, keep us going.
I ain't going to keep this too long. Y'all know I'm a born and bred Southern Miss. You know, my dad and my granddaddy both went to school here. Grew up my granddaddy bringing me to games. My earliest memory is a Southern Miss game. It was a loss, but it's still one of my earliest memories. It wasn't Texas State. It was to Memphis, sadly. Old Conference USA days. But let me tell you something. I'm going to sum up my opinion of this game with one thing. Southern Miss to the top.
All right.
To the top. You heard him.
All right. Gavin?
I'm kind of torn this game. I'm always, at heart, I'm always pick Southern Miss to win. But realistically, we have to think about it. Texas State, they're not that great this year, but their record does not show that. They're 3-6 on the year, but their offense averages 34.5 points a game, over 350 yards passing in the air, and over 100 on the ground. They have a receiver over there on that side of the ball that already has over 900 yards receiving, and he's only brought in 61 passes. Now I feel like this game because of how high powered and high up tempo that Texas State offense is, I feel like this game is going to really test our defense. Let's see how well conditioned y'all are. Let's see how disciplined y'all can be. Because we've seen that, y'all number one in turnovers, y'all are number one in the takeaways per game. But let's really see how disciplined y'all can play when we have 11 on 11 with our offense being a high-tempo offense. Regardless, I'm going to pick my Golden Eagles to win.
Just to build off what Gavin said, I mean, Texas State's record really is not a true showing of the skill that they have on their team. Like, those first 3 games, they were hot. People had them like coming in very hot to really do some damage in the Sun Belt West. So I feel like they're going to give us a little bit of trouble. I feel like our defense, although it may seem like our defense is perfect, like we have the Avengers on defense, I feel like Texas State's offense could give us some trouble because, just like Gavin said, they do score a lot of points. We don't score as many points usually. Our defense does help out our offense. Our offense goes, and they do what it takes to win on the offensive side of the ball with the help of the defense. So as long as we go out there and we take advantage of what their defense is giving us, we score our points, and we limit their points, we're going to win the game. Give me the Golden Eagles.
It comes down to one simple thing. Turnovers. They are 122nd in FBS, Texas State, and there is, 136 teams? So you're scraping the bottom. Now, yes, they do have a lot of passing yards, but that's because they throw up, as I like to call, Hail Mary balls from time to time. Seeing it against JMU, seeing it against the lead that they gave away in Troy. Their offensive line is abysmal. Almost both times I watched them, they probably had 45 yards in penalties just from the offensive line alone. Our defense is coming. You know, Coach Huff will load the box. We'll send 6 at you. Sometimes we'll send 7 if we're feeling frisky. Can their O-line hold up against us? I don't believe so. And one more thing I want to say about Texas State is if you just clean up your mistakes, you can upset us, but that's going to be a lot because there's a lot on defense, I would like to say. If you spread them out, as Troy did, as a JMU did, throwing the wide receiver screen short, the running back sweeps to the outside, their outside coverage is not that good. And that's one thing we can do very well with Braxton being dynamic and then having our tandem of running backs and even Micah Davis catching the screen and scoring. So give me USM because they are well-rounded in every facet of the game more than Texas State is.
I like that. But I would say that just to keep it short and sweet, last thing is just that, but it's going to have to come down to how we got to keep our defense fresh. We got to constantly rotate. We got to get off. We got to go down the field and make plays on offense because you got to think about it offensively. We are not that great on third down conversions.
And that's what kept us last week against Arkansas State. Defense having to run and hey, as soon as I'm sit down, I'm on punt team getting ready to go back on the field. Then I got to play a whole defensive drive. So yeah, you are right. We have to slow the game down. A lot more runs need to happen. We have 3 good running backs and a quarterback who can run, but we don't need him running a lot, as we seen the injury happen last week, which he's fully capable of being back from. But also, Texas State is under a little bit of fire as they got into a brawl with Louisiana last week. 3 starters on defense are out. They are not mentioning who, but they just said 3. And you can't play defense with 8 guys, so it's going to be 3 new guys in there.
Is that it from you guys? Any last remarks from anybody?
Give Ryan Williams the ball. I like his TikTok, Give him the ball, let him score. That's going to be a key for Bama, man. Give him the ball.
I will say one last thing.
One last thing.
It'll be interesting today against Texas State. I want to see Landry Liddy play a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't get to watch much of the Arkansas State game, but I want to see how he does in person. He sounded pretty good. Now, I'm all for, Braylon Braxton. Great transfer on all these award lists, but I want to see how Landry Liddy does because,
he's our future.
He's our future. That's where it stands with a backup. If nobody else notices him and we hang on to him, I want to see how he does. I want to see him in this game. I think this would be, like I said, last week was
67 and nothing blowout, then put him in.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that'll be a wrap on this episode of Hub City Game Day. It's been me, your host, Cameron Johnson. Come back for more.